Welcome to the mess.
On the surface she looks fine, but what's inside ain't always in line. Life is good, life is bad. She's a mess, but a happy one.
Hi, I'm Little Happy Mess and welcome to my podcast.
Hello, welcome to the mess. Welcome to podcast episode. I had to look now 45. How to stop giving a shit. It's so good to have you here again, and it's so nice to be back to podcasting. So this is the third episode I'm recording now since 2.5 years or more. No, 3 years. 3 years, almost 3 years, and it makes me really happy. It's a lot of work because I have to get back into it, and you forget everything, how the programs work, and then I have a very old laptop here, which doesn't like all the new versions of the programs, and I don't want to give up on him. There's a lot of technical struggles, of course. And then also one episode already leaked too early, the first one, but only on YouTube because my mastermind didn't postpone the publishing date I get faster, and what I'm trying to do is to make the effort I put in as little as possible, so that I enjoy it as much as possible, so that I keep posting episodes and stick to it, because I didn't last time. It gives me a lot of joy, actually. I really like doing it, I want to work on the consistency part of posting episodes. Okay, so that was a whole lot of stuff that's probably not interesting for you, but here you are anyway. You're welcome. If during the episode I keep sneezing and blowing my nose, it's because I'm allergic to everything that's flying out there at the moment. Spring is so beautiful, but when you're allergic, when you're, how's it called in English? I don't know, pollenallergiker, then life sucks for you in spring. It's beautiful, but you have to sneeze and your eyes are red and they are itchy, and it really, really sucks. So if you don't have anything to be grateful today, but you're not allergic to pollen, you're not allergic to spring, then be grateful for that. Okay, so this episode is called How to Stop Giving a Shit. Why? Because I did not believe this point would ever come in my life, but I stopped giving a shit. Not about everything, of course, but in general, I'm a person that's very sensitive, very emotional, very empathic. I feel a lot, and I feel for other people and animals and just everything. I could have never imagined that I would at some point be able to give less of a shit, because then I was always struggling with fitting in and trying to be like the other people, trying to be, I don't know, successful and fitting into beauty standards, into whatever I was in, I guess. So I don't know, sports scenes. I was always trying to fit in, to be like the other people, to be normal. I think that's the theme of my life. I remember when I was a teenager, my mom was always sitting with me, and I was always telling her, I just want to be normal, I want to be normal. And she was always like, you are normal. But I never felt normal. I always felt different and weird and a misfit, and I struggled so much with being part of society and everything. Whenever I felt good, I was cool, and I was like, don't fit it, I'm so cool. But it kept, this kept running in my brain, kind of. It was always this background noise, I guess, always telling me you don't fit in, you're not enough, you're not and these people, they do so much more, they are more this, you should be more like that. For example, I'm working in an NGO now, but I worked in an NGO before, and there's a lot of very ambitious people that do a lot for other people and for children and for this world, and they are very, I perceive them as very successful, but then also very conscious towards humans and the environment, and just people I look up to. And I was always comparing myself to them, and I felt like I wasn't as good as them, and I would never be as good as them, and I was not doing enough. And then I was also struggling because I had no power left, because I had a burnout, and then I was still like trying so hard to be good, to be like them, but I couldn't. Um, yeah, so I'm that kind of person. Usually, that's all I remember growing up. Trying to be better, trying to fit in, crying a lot because I didn't. Obviously, I think everybody who's struggling with mental illnesses, just like I did and do, um, you kind of know that you don't fit in, because otherwise you wouldn't have so many adaptation problems. That's what I like to call mental health issues, that you have adaptation problems. And I'll go into this in another episode, because I'm very critical of of our system. I've always been, I guess, but now it's become more obvious. But I'll go into that in another episode. But that's what I call adaptation problems. So problems adapting to society, to system, to the way of living that we have created for us. Yeah, so I've always had problems with that. And I've always had problems with boundaries as well. That was always very difficult. And when you have problems with boundaries, it's also very hard to not give a shit. You give a lot of shit because you feel everybody else as well. And then you feel it when you upset someone because you don't do whatever they want you to do. And that makes it even harder, because you constantly overstep your own boundaries to fulfill the needs of others, because you're a little victim and you want everybody to love you. So you're a people pleaser, and you know, all of that. And that's what makes you give a lot of shits. Um, and I don't know what it was exactly that helped me to stop giving a shit. I think it's age at some point as well. I'm 31 now, and my 30 crisis, guys, it was crazy. I ran a marathon, okay? And I prepared for it for 3 months. My body's basically broken now. So I think when I reached 30, it changed, because now I'm like, society thinks I'm useless anyway, and yeah, like I don't have to like, I don't know, I don't have to do anything anymore. I don't, because everybody thinks I'm too old now anyway. So that kind of helped me. And also, like, okay, so I'm 30, I have no kids, I have nothing like a career in a classical sense. I have no house, no flat. Um, so I have achieved nothing that society, the way it's built currently, honors. So I might as well just roll with being an unsuccessful failure. And it actually took some pressure off. Like, okay, I didn't do all those things I was supposed to do by 30. So no, I'm just a failure and it doesn't matter. And it's kind of really comfortable, because when that happened, a shift in my head happened. Like, okay, I didn't achieve all those things because they're just not for me. Like, I don't feel like ever having kids. Maybe I want to adopt at some point, but I don't know that. Um, I don't like, at no point in my life I want to buy a house or a flat. I mean, if for some reason I get so much money that I feel the urge to do that, then okay. But I don't like owning things. I mean, I'm also in a privileged position because my parents built up a lot of wealth, so that's probably why. I think if you are not in that privileged position like I am, then it's different. So, white privilege right there. I don't need to own a house because I'm going to inherit one. Okay, sorry for that. Uh, but yeah, I haven't achieved all those things society kind of values or tells you to achieve by 30. And I'm not unhappy with it because those things, they didn't make sense until now. Maybe they will in the future, but right now they just didn't. So that helped. And what also helped, which is a bit weird, I talked to friends about it and they're like, okay, that's very weird, but if it helps you, I guess. So with all the shit going on in the world, um, I kind of like get this confirmation of what I've always felt. I always felt like, okay, I'm wrong, but also this world seems kind of wrong. And I got this, I felt this very strongly because I've worked in a kindergarten before. And it was a very, very, very badly led kindergarten. So leadership sucked balls. So this kindergarten is not representative for every kindergarten in Austria because I work in another like in another NGO now and we have a kindergarten and it's completely different. But in this kindergarten, the kids were pushed so hard to fit into a certain standard. Like I was basically part of the socialization process, like pressing those individuals into one little. I don't know how to put that, but you could see the adaptation problems certain kids had with that because they were too loud or they just had too much power. We didn't really have a garden. Like I don't want to like what we had was not a garden. So like a lot of those kids, they were just stuck in this room all day and they had so much energy and you could see what it did to them. So it was really hard. Sorry, it was really hard. It was really hard for me being part of this socialization process because it hurt me so much because I could feel the pain of those kids and I was like, so this is what happened to me and this is how I started like masking from a very young age to fit in and to be normal and to be okay with everything. And it's so sad because like we really, and I tried not to, but initially what leadership requested was to break those kids. And it broke my heart. I couldn't do that anymore. And yeah, that was also like when I truly saw what we're doing is not it's not good. And there's a lot of kindergartens that are different like that. I don't know, I have a friend that has a kid and he's in a how's it called, like a forest kindergarten, so he's outside the whole day. He can run around and everything, so there's different models, but usually those models cost more or they have limited spaces. So the traditional models are still very, pressing you into this one little system where you become an obedient little uh, citizen that does everything the state tells him or her to do and don't question the reality around you. This is, of course, I'm exaggerating right now, but that's what I'm basically trying to say, like pressing people into this one little and kind of I don't know, cutting out the individuality that would not fit into this little path. And for some people, it's easier to fit into it, to not question things, to be okay, like, okay, that's just the way things are. And then there's people like me, for example, who want to know why things are the way they are and are very curious and question everything. I'm just very curious by nature. And then for those people, it's more difficult because they just don't want to, yeah, they just don't want to be pressed into it. So you need how do you say, like you need a little bit more of flexibility. But then especially when I grew up, so back in the days, now it's changing, this system was very rigid and there was no how do you say, like there was no flexibility. And that also helped me to see how like actually to go through the pain of seeing what socialization does to those kids, and what it probably did to me as well, and what it did to other people, and then the third part is seeing what was going on in the world. So at some point I was like, okay, so I am trying so hard to fit into a world where people like fucking Epstein, probably, like, that guy for sure isn't dead. He's just living his best life on some other island. I don't know. And like him, and like with a president of one of probably the most influential country in the world, because they have the most bombs and nuclear weapons. And that guy like raped so many kids and probably ate them. Like, I don't even want to know what he did and didn't do. And this is like those kind of people. They get in the most powerful positions in this world, and there is no accountability for those people. Like, they just stay in the positions they are, and I'm getting angry here. I'm in my Luthien face. I'm getting angry. So they stay in those positions. There's no accountability for those kind of terrible acts, and we don't even know all of it. And I'm trying to make myself fit into a system that was created for people like that to get to the top of those systems. So basically, this is the kind of behavior we honor and we want to see, because otherwise we wouldn't put people like that in powerful positions like that. Then I think that I don't have an adaptation problem. I think that where I'm trying to adapt and fit myself into has a problem. Not trying to say that I don't have problems. Like, I for sure have a mental disease, and I by nature or by default have problems fitting in and all those things. But like, I really don't need to put myself down because I don't fit into a system that that honors becoming a billionaire, having so much more money than other people, while there's so many people starving. And like, you do not have to be a billionaire. Like, it's enough if you're a millionaire. Like, we really do not need billionaires, but we have created a system that's so that promotes inequality in such a way that that the gap is just it's too much. And as a billionaire, you have far too much influence. Now I'm going too much into whatever's going to be my next episode. But yeah, like, I don't have to fit into a system that that benefits behavior that is very inhuman and very, very bad for most people. And also, sorry, and also because I always wanted, to be more, to work more, because I always felt I'm not enough. I do not measure myself on my productivity, and productivity also means self-optimization. This is all some capitalist bullshit, and like, optimizing yourself is, I think it's called neoliberalism. I don't know, but all of those self-help, whatever shit going on. I mean, I do it too, but in general, like, optimizing yourself, hacking yourself, biohacking, and optimizing not just you as a workforce, but then you as a living human being in your private life. That's all part of capitalism, because then they can sell you the next product, like, oh, okay, your skin isn't blah, blah, blah enough, and you haven't enough Botox in your forehead. Here is a product that we can offer you so you fit into the standards, and blah, blah. So everything you optimize about yourself or about your behavior or about whatever, it's you get a product that you have to buy, so someone else is taking profit of your insecurities, basically. So those insecurities are placed on purpose. If we have healthy, happy people that feel enough and that feel fulfilled, and that, insert whatever else, they don't have the need to buy shit. They just buy the things that they actually need, but they are not gonna buy, I don't know, I'm just saying random shit here, lip fillers. Or they're not gonna buy a fucking yacht, like a big boat, for 500 million euros, because you don't need it. Like, a smaller boat is okay too if you want a boat. There is no need for a helicopter to land on it. but then you need it so you can compare yourself with the guy with the boat next door and be like, but mine has a helicopter landing place. Because you are so insecure that you always have to be a bit better than other people. And how do you do it? By having more money or having bigger shiny things. And this is inherently wrong, because because this is created so that we buy more. So the insecurities are created. The not feeling enough is created. The whole productivity thing. So the only people who ever needed to be productive were slaves, um, because they were very, like, all they were a product, which is very bad. But then we are like modern slaves, measuring us and others on how productive we are and how much we worked and how much we, I don't know, ran or cycled or were in the fitness studio. Like this keeps going on and extends to different areas of life. And for what? So that some peoples can rape babies on Epstein Island. Like, sorry that I have to go back to this, and it's very uncomfortable to listen to it, but that's initially it. And now, like, I just have to laugh about it, and I stopped giving a shit, because I was like, fuck that. Fuck treating myself like shit, like I'm not enough, I'm not fitting in, so that some other people profit on it, on my insecurities, and so that I promote or help a system grow bigger that that holds that doesn't hold people who do very bad stuff accountable, and actually promotes them to the biggest positions they are in this world. That's initially what helped me. My friends kind of say, well, I don't know. But it actually helped me to stop giving a shit, because the world, the way many areas are working right now, is not okay. And I don't want to play into this anymore. And it actually, like, now I feel very free. I feel, first it was scary, because sometimes my head is empty. Like, there's no, usually my head kept nagging and like, oh, you have to do this and you have to be that. And of course I still have it, but very often it just stops. There's nothing in my head. And when you're used to constant noise in your head, it's scary. But now I'm really like leaning into it. I'm so relaxed and chilled. And it's very nice. Also, I also have to warn you about that. At the beginning, I felt a bit numb. I was like, okay, so do I not like anything anymore? Do I not give a shit about anything anymore? And that's not true. So there's a numb phase, but then you start discovering the areas which are truly important, like my friends, my family, nature, the things I love, like skateboarding, sports. I discovered surfing now, reading. So there is a lot of stuff I still do give a shit about, obviously. But what I don't give a fuck about anymore, or very little fuck, is fitting in, being enough, being nice, being whatever. No, I'm just me, unhinged, and I'm okay with that. So what helped me? I think I already told you the three parts that kind of woke me up. So when I watched the socialization, when I watched the kids being socialized, turning 30 and going through the 30 crisis, realizing I've achieved nothing, and then, yeah, just accepting that I don't have to, and kind of like, I was like, okay, so I didn't achieve all those things, I can chill now. And the current situation of the world, and how people who do terrible shit are promoted to really good positions and are not held accountable. And I don't want to help those people by feeling insecure and buying their products. I think I still buy their products at some point, because I don't know what they own and so on. So it's not, yeah, but I'm trying. Yeah, and what also helped me, and what can also help you, I'm sorry that I always have to say this, but it's just true: meditation, grounding techniques, everything that shuts out the noise. So if you're like me and sometimes you watch reels for 2 hours or longer, and that's not shutting out the noise, that's taking in everything from outside. and to feel ourselves and to feel who we really are and what we truly need, we need to shut the noise out. So we need to be alone actually. We need to be in places where it's quiet. We can be with people who benefit us, who kind of like inspire and encourage us, who we can talk to about feeling the way we feel. But I think the alone time is actually very important. And also like practicing saying no or I don't care, even if it doesn't feel like that yet. And so you can say I don't care even if it's not true yet, but it will become true the more you suggest your brain the reality of not caring, because reality is a construct and we can influence our brain. If you like, that's how affirmations work, and that's how many types of therapy work. So we're trying to reprogram the brain by creating a new reality, and your brain doesn't know what's real or what's not real. What's real for your brain is what you feed it, so you can feed your brain information that you want it to feel. And yeah, if you keep saying I don't care, then it becomes true at some point. And also saying no, like boundaries are so important, because you are the most important person. Because if you're not okay, then you cannot help anyone else. If your cup is empty, like mine was in that kindergarten, I couldn't help the kids anymore. You have to fill it up first and then you can give it to other people. That's why in the plane, it's like put the oxygen mask on you first before helping others, because you cannot help others if you can't breathe. So you have to say no. You have to treat yourself like a little girl or boy you're trying to protect. Even in the beginning, it feels hard, especially saying no to people that we love. But then we get more comfortable and more confident. And I don't know, I have people that I even tell to, hey, I'm practicing saying no now. And then they even encourage me, and I try to encourage my friends too, because I have a lot of sensitive friends. And yeah, that helps to feel ourselves better and to stop giving a shit. So I hope there was some information in there that helped, because I think that I tried to summarize everything that helped me, but I think a lot of it is just I don't know. I think a shift in my brain happened, some energy stuff going on, and I think you can practice it to a point, but then also the click in your head. I think it's something that we have to lean into, and it happens or doesn't happen, and we just have to be patient with it. Just keep in mind that for a person like me that never even thought this could be possible, it was possible, so it can be for you too. Yes. If you like this episode, which I hope, then please leave me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe on YouTube, give me a 5-star recommendation, on Spotify. If you have suggestions for episodes, you can go to my Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can message me there. I would love to hear your suggestions. You can also leave me a feedback. Please stay respectful. So I will delete comments that are mean. But like, if you're respectful, you can also like please say something negative as well. You don't have to agree with me. I'd love to have a discussion in the comments as well. And that's it for this week. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for listening and watching, and bye bye.